Well, welcome to our Tuesday night, My Self-Reliance open conversation. This is where we get to meet new people from all over Australia and anyone tuning in from anywhere else, um, and get to know people in your local community. So, the idea of our Tuesday night chats is we share news, information, and where to find information, and to really build up our resources for self reliance. So, tonight I have a little bit of a program for you, um, and then we're going to have a discussion about it. And then, if we have enough people, what we'd like to do is to go into breakout rooms, and then you can have a more one-to-one conversation with people from your own area. Now, if you miss tonight's live Zoom, then you can catch the replay on my YouTube channel, Kelly Wilkins on YouTube, or the replay then goes into the main My Self-Reliance channel, My Self-Reliance and Food Storage chat group. So you can find it there as well. So I'm just going to share my screen with you. And whilst I'm doing that, I do have some announcements. I'm actually the organizer for the permaculture introduction that's on this weekend. So if anyone is keen to come along and learn about permaculture, where it's a camping weekend, it starts on Thursday when we set up, and then the permaculture workshop goes Friday and Saturday. All day you get a meal that's provided, and we're going to share a meal on the Friday night. It's going to be super amazing with the most gorgeous community of people coming together. And I can't even tell you how excited I am for the campfire conversations that we are going to have with this like-minded group of people who are coming. And if you like the sound of learning about permaculture, that's, living sustainably, you can do it on land or in your backyard or on a terrace windowsill. There's all kinds of ways that you can make the most of your environment that's really supporting you and nature. And if you can't make this weekend, the next permaculture workshop will be on Anzac weekend, this Saturday and Sunday. I think it's the 23rd and 24th, because the 25th is actual Anzac Day. And so that's our next permaculture event, held in New South Wales near the beautiful Wiseman's Ferry area. And we'll come back to you with a bit more information about that as we get closer. So just sharing my screen with you now. Okay, tonight's topic is all about being a prepper versus being a hoarder. What does that even mean? Now, will help you to know which one are you. Okay, because sometimes people can get a little bit confused as to when you're collecting things as a prepper, when does it become hoarding? Okay, so this was me the other day as I was shopping, and I had this thought. Was like, okay, I'm shopping now, and now I don't need any more tins of tomatoes because I've got plenty of those. But what do I need? And I didn't have a list on me. I was just eyes out looking for, what do I need? What do I need? And I almost thought, well, if I'm buying things that I don't need, am I becoming a hoarder? Am I holding on to things for that just in case moment? And then the other thought came to me like, wow, I have this empty plastic container. Is it useful? Should I keep it? Should I throw it away? Does that make me prepping or hoarding? So this led me to delve into this conversation, and I want to share with you some of the things that I found out about preppers and hoarders. Okay, let's start with preppers. You know you are a prepper if you tick some of these boxes, or most of them. If the majority of these statements are true, this is you. Your stockpile and home is reasonably tidy. Don't worry about if it gets in the mess. My house can get in a mess. It doesn't mean that if you have a messy home, you're a hoarder, not necessarily. But if you're generally reasonably clean, okay, tick that one. The items you stockpile are functional. Your stockpile is organized. You can use the things that you are storing within your lifetime. You agree with the saying, store what you eat and eat what you store. You are prepared. You do not have to go to the shop to pick up a few things when a major storm is predicted. Okay, so if that sounds like you, maybe you're on the way to being a prepper. Okay, let's have a look at the other version. If you're a hoarder, I have Emma coming in and joining us. Lovely. If you are a hoarder, you might tick 3 or more of the following statements. You might not be all of them. Okay, number 1, items in your house are taking over space or furniture. Oops, hang on. I'll just mute you, Emma, if that's okay. I'm just doing our share part of this program. Okay, the items in your house are taking over the space or furniture meant for eating, sleeping, walking, or other normal human activities. Number 2, despite the fact that items in your house are taking over space and furniture meant for eating, sleeping, and walking over activities, you are emotionally attached to these items and reluctant to let go of them. Number 3, you are storing non-functional items, for example, broken items, or perhaps stacks of newspapers or stacks of magazines, plastic bags, shoes, or any particular item or group of things for which there is no realistic use or functional purpose for amount stored. How does this differ from a collection? A collection is organized and or has monetary or sentimental value, and these items do not. Number 4, your items have been gathered without a plan, and you'll organize them someday. Number 5, during a resource shortage, you collect more than you need or more than you can reasonably use, and you hide these resources away. So in comparison, a prepper will already have stored these items and will not need to rush out to secure more. And number 6, you do not have the food and supplies at home needed to get through a 3-day power outage without running to the store to pick up a few things. Okay, so there's a few good definitions there. Does anyone want to come off mute and say anything about preppers, hoarders at this point?
No, agreed with me, Charles.
Okay, very good. All right. Love it. So I'll continue. All right, so let's just compare side by side. So a prepper prepares for an event. A hoarder collects everything just in case. Preppers can easily part with their possessions. Hoarders are attached to their possessions. Preppers carefully consider their resources. Hoarders' resources are not as well thought out. Preppers focus on keeping themselves and others safe. Hoarders focus on keeping their stuff safe. Preppers keep the things in an organized fashion. Hoarders are messy and have stuff everywhere. Preppers are planners, and hoarders don't plan, they react. Okay, now that leaves me to another thought. Because about preppers. Now, how does a prepper think? A prepper thinks about the future and thinks, what if something bad happens? I need to prepare. Now, are they bringing bad karma into their space by thinking about future things going wrong? Okay, so this is another thought. That is it for your mindset damaging to think in the way the prepper? And so this is the other place that I come from a lot, is the abundance mindset. So how does it compare being a prepper mindset to an abundance mindset? An abundance mentality reassures you that there is plenty of success, plenty of money, and happiness for everyone. Those that choose to walk along the path of abundance experience a completely different life. Opting to live life to the full, exuding happiness by nature, generous by nature, creative and inspirational, taking full advantage and enjoying the waves of opportunity that come in their way, along with memorable experiences. So I've been in an abundance mindset, and that tends to allow me to let go of things, right? There's this whole notion of if you want something more to come in, you've got to create space for it. And whereas preppers have, really got their spaces filled, so under beds or hidden behind things, you don't necessarily show your prepping out on view, but there's stuff stored. And so this has kind of been another place that I've been thinking from, is I do want to live this. There's plenty to go around, there's lots of success, there's happiness, whilst also balancing off, what if something is to go pear-shaped? Okay, so let's have a look at a few traits of an abundance mindset. Okay, and let's see if we can have it all. Be a prepper and have abundance as well. So number one, an abundance mindset is from thinking big versus thinking small. So I would say that is a place where, rather than me prepping for myself and my family and just making sure that we survive, I'm thinking beyond our family and thinking, what if there's other people that are in need around me? Okay. Number two, which kind of flows on from that, there's plenty to go around. There's not a lack of resources, so that even if the proverbial was to hit the fan, we're still going to be able to survive, because we're going to find that abundance out there. So it might be in foraging, it might be in drawing towards you a water source, knowing that if you put it out there, it's going to come back to you. Okay, number three, happiness versus resentment. So meaning that even in the downturn situation, we know that something good always comes out of something bad. And really that there's not anything that's bad, it's just another opportunity for something new to arise. They kind of overlap a little bit. Number four, embracing change versus fear of change. So I probably covered this a little bit, but because of the last 2 years, I've been able to step away from teaching. That was my previous career, was in teaching, and now I get to share my knowledge with you all on these calls and in training and coaching, and that's what I do now around self-reliance, which has been a passion of mine for a long time. So number five, being proactive versus reactive. So looking for the opportunities, and looking for how being prepared for those opportunities, perhaps. So thinking beforehand all the different scenarios so that there's knowing that there's so many opportunities out there, not just bouncing and waiting for that moment to happen and not being prepared. Number 6, learning versus knowing it all. So an abundance mindset really means that there's no limit to how much you can learn. There's and there's like we can all learn from each other. You have knowledge that I don't, and I don't even have to know everything and I don't have to be great at everything, but there's certainly not a limit to how much I can learn either. And number 7, what's working versus what's not working. So it's really looking at the positive and being able to find solutions based on what you have rather than what you don't have, or what works about this situation. Great, there's 9 people on the call versus 50. Great, what does that allow for me to do in a smaller group that I can't do in a bigger group? But if it was a bigger group, great, what can I do in a bigger group that I can't do in a smaller group? So what's working about that? So I want to throw it over to you guys. I've shared with a few things. I can stop my share, or if you want to come off mute and just talk about anything that we've gone through, I can go back over some slides. So you can see that we're starting to where we're thinking from when we're planning and when we're looking at options and situations. So does anyone want to share your experiences or thoughts that you've had while I've been talking?
Me.
Yes, Betty. Yes.
I totally agree with you, Kelly, because I have had my journey behind me also. It is like you can recognize the situation and then you ask yourself, how do you feel everything inside? Even if you want to prepare yourself, what kind of the motivation do you have inside? What is like, do you still like have truth in yourself, or you start to be in the conflict because from one side you are believer in like universe, God and everything like that, then you should trust in 100% and then let everything live this way, or you should do something else. Then what I found out, the motivation which you have to figure out by yourself, this is very important for you. And then after that, peacefully, nicely, you know that everything what comes to you comes for some purpose. And this is like up to you what this purpose talks, which way this purpose talks to you. This is the way of the fear and the way just I want to survive, or like you said, it is like bigger picture. It is not just for me. Firstly, I would like to create very good atmosphere for everybody. Everybody feels good, safe, and abundance of everything. And we should just know this motivation that nothing happens because of the accident. We are for some purpose, and then follow this motivation. It's really easier like to recognize how to react to something. This is what do I think, and it wasn't easy to me. Firstly, it wasn't easy.
It's a journey, isn't it?
It is journey. Yes.
Yeah. But I know you, Betty, when you say it wasn't easy for you, then you've overcome some things, but there's been some times where, I've shared some things with you and you've said, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. And you're very beautifully positive in that way. you've really come on that journey where you look at things as opportunities all the time, and you're able to say, you know, it's going to be a blessing, it's going to be a benefit, whatever this is right now, it's a blessing. Yeah.
This is my benefit. This is kind of the talent which I have from forever, which makes my life much easier. I can't say that I have some troubles. Still, you know, it's good to question something. Just questioning things and like making sure, talking to the people. I love it. I really love it, and share the ideas. I love it.
One of the things I think that you do really well is have an attitude of gratitude.
Yes.
And I think just that one thing allows you to have that abundance mindset, because if you're focusing on what you do have rather than what you don't have, that gratitude, that allows you to, you know, step up into that so quickly, turn that focus off of, you know, the negative to the positive, just by, they say, what you focus on grows, right? And so if we want more good things to happen in our life, we focus on the good things, not on the negative. Otherwise, that grows.
But you know how I achieve it? Like the building my mindset this way, even being in some difficult or challenging situation to me, I just started to think, what about with this, what is quite not easy to me will be a bit less, and something what I really love be a bit more. And this was still difficult, still a bit less, and this what I really love a bit more, like by little baby steps. It's of course a few more things around, but mainly like if sometimes you can't find really, like, you know, this from the bottom of the heart, this like idea with everything, you are just human being and you are having also these emotions which you want to figure out somehow, and it is like, you know, catching something like fishing, and like, you know, you fish something. What about, okay, simply a bit less of that?
Yes.
Anyhow, I do not know how, but a bit less, and then more this one, and focus this way, this way, this way, a bit.
Yeah. No, that's exactly right, because we get hooked like that fishing. We get hooked on feeling a certain way, and then you know, if we're not careful, we can get hooked on the drama of things. You know?
Oh, being drama queen doesn't work.
Yeah.
Can Charles say something now?
Yes, certainly.
Yes.
Charles.
Okay, Beta. Are you truly a tragedy?
No, never.
Why do you say that?
It is like, you know, I am from the family where we always would like to keep something without any
Beta,
big.
don't blame your family.
I do not blame anybody. No, not this way.
Well, okay,
And
sounds
how
like
about
you
you, Charles? Where do you see yourself sit?
All right. So my thoughts, my seminal points from this, I thought groupthink. We need to change the paradigm. These are my just notes. 10 minutes ago, didn't have them in my brain, but I'm doing it now. We need to change the paradigm currently that is endemic in society. Society wants us to think a particular way. We have when we were through God, and God, or whatever God you want to think about, and look at the stars. Stars make us who we are. And I look at Orion. That's 40,000 light years away. That means that star died 40,000 years ago. It's going to take 40,000 years for that star to disappear. Okay, big universe type of stuff. Anyways, so groupthink. We need to stop thinking that we are victims. We will never be victims. We need to release ourselves from the victimhood which has been thrust upon us. We pay our, and this is, I don't know how you guys want to think about it. I know I've done God, law, and other stuff. So, like my cat respects me because we interact. Interaction is the key to society.
I like what you're saying there, because what you're saying about detaching ourselves from being a victim, and even so, this is, you know, the definition of my self-reliance, right? Is like not being attached to anybody else for anything else that you need, because you can be have that innate ability
Empowerment.
Empower yourself. That's right, around all areas.
And it's non-gender. Empowerment shouldn't be gender specific. It's a community that gets together and looks after each other. That's what I, Kelly, you know, we've met. You know, that's what I'm trying to do. And I want to allow others in the limited 5 million people in Sydney who have the health, the mental health, the social health. We've got social health, we've got all of that stuff, but is it genuine? I think we need to take it from a different. We need to just break it down to a different level to say, where were we in previous years? And the world needs to be how you start from your local community and you take it up to the next community and other communities.
That's right.
And I don't know.
That's what's going to happen this year.
I need to go mute. All right, so sorry.
No, you're 100%. I just want to piggyback off what you're saying there. Is 100% right. Is that community is the word of the year, and you will start to see the power come back to the people as we, you know, it's not just about myself. I'm going to rely on me, but we're going to rely on each other. Just that support, and there's a beautiful word for it that was in the group today. But disassociating from what the government can do for us, but what we can do for each other. And so that's a really good point that you bring up there, Charles. Thank you so much for that. And I just wanted to welcome Emma on the call. And I don't know if you can hear me, Emma, but you came in halfway through that conversation, so I wanted to catch you up with it. But what I think now we'll do is I'm going to press stop on the record, and so thank those who are watching the replay for being with us, and invite you to come back on next Tuesday night. One of the conversations that we will have is around common law. I do have an uncle that's he's an expert on common law, and he's going to jump on with us. He was actually unwell to be here tonight. But do join us next Tuesday at 8 p.m. if you're watching the replay, and we shall see you then. So if you're on the call, stay there. We're not going to finish the conversation. I'm just going to press stop on the recording.
Can I say something about common law?
Yes. Hang on. I'm just gonna. Yeah. Go ahead before I press stop on the recording. Go ahead.
Common law comes from the Bible. Yeah, that's where common law. My ex-wife was a lawyer. My builder is studying law. I know common law. How's that for bigsies? All right, I'll mute now.
I just wanted
love to get involved next time.
Yeah, very good. Don't get off the call. Just stay there. I just wanted to read what Carol mentioned. She said, prepare for the worst and hope for the best. Absolutely right, Carol. That's what preppers are